We're now on Dragon Ball Super Episode 9. This episode begins with Goku summoning Shenlong, him explaining the Super Saiyan God ritual, them trying the ritual with only 5 Saiyans and failing, of course, Videl revealing that she's pregnant, and then them doing the ritual proper and Goku becoming the Super Saiyan God. If you've seen Battle of Gods, none of this is a surprise. Overall, this episode was... meh. It's certainly leagues above the last episode, but that really wasn't a high bar to overcome. First off, there's the animation. It had a really low frame rate, it was off-model quite a bit, it was just pretty mediocre across the board. At no point did it look particularly good or impressive. The next issue I had has to do with pacing. Almost every episode in this show so far has had very slow pacing. It's just been dragging ass. This episode is different in that it has very uneven pacing, where the first half moves at a much brisker pace than the second half. Let me explain. When I summoned Shenlong, that part of the episode felt really rushed. Like they were under some sort of weird time constraint, they just had to fit as much in there as they possibly could to just move on to the next thing. There's a lot of little bits of information for Battle of Gods that are completely not just in this episode at all. Shenlong does not go over the lore and history of the Super Saiyan God whatsoever. He just tells them how to do it, and that's it. And then he also throws in this quick little line about how it's written in the Book of Namekian Mythologies or something. Which then kind of begs the question of, why the fuck did the Namekians have some sort of book of legends about the Saiyans? I was really hoping that this episode was going to flesh out those concepts, go more deeper into the whole backstory and history of the Super Saiyan God. Maybe show some of that. Maybe give us a better idea of why nobody fucking remembers it. But no, we got none of that. We got even less than we did in Battle of Gods. And then they have this weird line about the Book of Namekian Mythologies. And now Dragon Ball Super's version of this has left me with more questions than fucking Battle of Gods did. And there's also a little throwaway line from Bulma to Vegeta about, well, why didn't you know about this legend? You're the Prince of all Saiyans. Okay, Dragon Ball Super, hanging a lampshade on it does not excuse it from that not making any goddamn sense. Like, Vegeta says nothing in fucking response, he's just like, ugh. And the dragon doesn't do anything to fill in this information. So this whole segment was way worse than Battle of Gods, and I didn't even like the Battle of Gods version. One thing that I thought was a slight interesting improvement was that it stated that the 5 Saiyans need to pour, their hearts, their souls, their spirits, into the 6th. Not actually their ki or their power. And I thought that was an interesting little change that made it felt more like a ritual than just, here's my ki. And it's even brought up again by Whis whenever they failed to do the ritual with just the 5 Saiyans. And as I was expecting, whenever they're like, oh shit, we're short a Saiyan, there is no line about Tarble whatsoever, so I guess Tarble is just not canon to Dragon Ball Super at all. Then there's the Videl is pregnant reveal, which is so much worse in this version. In Battle of Gods, it was this kind of quiet, happy moment, this real human moment where these characters were just sharing this experience. The excitement of, oh my gosh, Videl's pregnant. Gohan and Videl are going to have a child. Isn't this wonderful? And here, it's kind of silly and stupid. Gohan starts jumping up and down, woo! And then fucking Mr. Satan bumps him out of the way. Fewer people are gathered around her. It really lacks a lot of the emotional weight that the Battle of Gods version had. Which is really sad because, being a TV episode, they should have had the time to just spend more time on that. Make it even more emotional. Then there's the Super Saiyan God ritual, which is both sort of better, but also sort of worse. Conceptually, this transformation idea is great. The sky is consumed by these yellow clouds that are swirling around. There are whirlpools in the ocean. It's raining and hailing and thunder and lightning. This is literally a transformation of biblical proportions. We see the days fly by in seconds. It is majestic and awe-inspiring. The music swells perfectly. But there are so many things that really fuck this up. First off, the animation. As I brought up before, the animation was really subpar and it did this transformation sequence 0 favors. This is a big monumental moment for the series and it really should have had a damn good team behind it. Then there was just the overall length of the event. It takes up half the fucking episode. And I'm fine with a big long transformation, but this was too long. 5 minutes would have been great, maybe even 6 or 7. 10 was just too goddamn much. And there were just some really weird moments throughout the transformation that kind of just brought the quality down. First off, the lame-ass cutaway jokes. We have this big, dramatic, epic transformation, but then we cut away to Pilaf and the gang getting sucked up in a whirlpool and this really comedic little scene. Then we have like the weather coming down, and it's pouring, but then like we show the Muten Roshi and he's getting hailed on. He's like, why is it hailing? And jokes really have no place in a scene like this. It really distracts from the emotional impact of the entire thing. Another big distraction was they kept cutting away to other characters talking. Specifically the ones who were involved in the ritual. I really felt they should have been silent the entire time. I felt this entire sequence should have been mostly silent. Mostly people just looking on in awe. You know, maybe the people watching saying a few words here and there, but mostly just keeping it silent. Let the visuals speak. Let the atmosphere suck in the audience. Don't distract us with dialogue that kind of interferes with the transformation. Compare this transformation to any other first reveal of a Super Saiyan form. Goku's SS1 transformation, Gohan's SS2 transformation, Goku's SS3 transformation, and Goku's SS4 transformation. These are usually big, epic events. They usually put like their best animation teams on it, and they hit the audience with a lot of force. It's what makes these transformations memorable, and yes, some of them are really long, but they're never as long as this one. Not to the point to where it feels like it's being artificially dragged out. And yes, like some characters do talk during these sequences, but once again, it's usually people who are just looking on in awe, and if you're the villain, usually in terror. And at no point do they cut away to show like some character doing something goofy. It never breaks the consistent tone that they're going for with the transformation. I think that's what made those transformations so memorable, and this is where this one just completely falters. It's just way too long. They keep fucking with the tone by cutting away, doing shitty jokes, having characters talk too much during the sequence, and it really just kind of pulls you out of the majesty of what the transformation is supposed to be. So yeah, like I said, great fucking concept. Shitty direction and fucking animation really dragged the whole fucking experience down for me. And as for Videl becoming a Super Saiyan, I have nothing to say about that because she was not a goddamn Super Saiyan. Yes, her hair turns blonde. Her hair turned blonde as part of the ritual. She still had blue eyes, which is her natural eye color. They don't turn green. She still had her pupils. She was not a Super Saiyan. Fucking drop it, guys. And the last thing worth noting is, once again, Piccolo still cannot sense God Ki. After Goku transforms, he looks down at Dende, and Dende's like, Which, once again, there's no reason for Piccolo to not be able to sense God Ki. God damn it. So yeah, this episode overall was just pretty damn weak. And I would say that I was disappointed, but it's not like this was a step down from last week. I mean, it's most certainly better than last week's episode. But at the same time, seeing what they were going for with this transformation, I kinda am disappointed, because I would have really liked to have seen a version of that had like that kind of flawless execution that I was talking about. If they had just done the fucking transformation for Battle of Gods but with shittier animation, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's what I expected. But now seeing what they were going for, I was like, oh, that's so fucking cool! Or at least it would have, had the director not been fucking retarded and the animation team not kinda crap. Fuck! So yeah, that's Dragon Ball Super Episode 9. It was, like I said, meh. Hopefully I can look forward to some interesting fight scenes next episode. Crossing my fingers. Till then, Zeon, out.